need to get one off my chest. We're like 5 days removed now, I think, from 307. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm still really seething. This is what Dana White had to say.
What did you think of the judging in the co-main event? I mean, it seemed to me...
I thought your judging tonight was atrocious.
We had Jose Aldo, who got robbed by a chicken shit coward.
He didn't get off the cage. That's not my problem.
We also had Raquel Pennington skanked out by whatever you call this.
Brother, what's that?
We had Carla Esparza. Actually, kind of fuck her. We can just chalk that one up to karma. I'm not really too bothered about Carla Esparza. And then the week before that, we had Brito. The week before that, we had Joshua Kalibao. They were the one legs that ruined all my parlays in the last 3-4 weeks.
Coincidence?
And I feel like I could go on. Like, if you look across the whole year, I feel like there's at least one on every card. And to be honest, I've just had enough of it. Like, I'm kind of surprised that Chris Lee and Sal D'Amato haven't ended up on a fucking milk carton at this point. Because it's like... I'm not saying anyone should do it,
But I understand.
so I'm watching cards these days, and I watch one fighter basically pump out another fighter for 3 rounds or 5 rounds or whatever it is, and we get to the end of the fight, and we just don't know who's going to get the decision. I'm never sure anymore. What can we do to fix this? Like, what can we do to change UFC judging so that this stops happening?
We've given them so many ideas that they just don't seem to latch on to. We're giving them the blueprint on how to fix it, and they just don't want to take it, and I don't understand why. I feel like I used to be against open scoring. I used to be against it because I was like, as a purist of the sport, I was like, I think that's gonna, screw the game up, and in the 3rd round, people are gonna be running around trying to not get hit. But I feel like that's kind of the lesser of two evils, maybe. If we have that and everybody is aware of what's going on, then maybe we could, take away from some of this weirdness, because there's no reason that Jose Aldo couldn't, if he knew what was going on, that maybe he could do something a little bit different. And I mean, if Raquel Pennington saw, hey man, I lost that 1st round, I gotta go all or nothing, maybe she would have done something different. I don't know, but maybe that's the way to fix it. I don't like open scoring, but I feel like these are the cards that we've been dealt, and we're kind of stuck right here. And if we keep continuing to do what we're doing right now, we're just going to be talking about this again in next year, and 5 years after that, 10 years after that. So we got to do something, and I feel like maybe that's just something that we need to try.
What do you reckon, CJ?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's gonna change anything. Rocky fought her fight. You know what I mean? I don't think it's gonna change like her skill level.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
But same with Jose Aldo. What was he gonna do to pry Mario off him? I don't know. There's maybe some fighters who that'll work for, but I mean, I think they do what they do in basketball. Just let them watch a replay of it and pause the fight. They already paused the fight quite a bit. So, and there's a lot of times that you can see the replay, and that is a good way of holding them accountable. So now you're going to play on a big screen what just happened and call something in front of everybody. Yeah.
I was kind of thinking along similar lines. I've got a couple of things. I'm not going to go too far into it. When you kind of often hear in broadcasts, when you hear about the judges like not having access to like live stats, I know they got monitors and stuff there, and everyone's like, oh yeah, they don't. And then I'm thinking like, yeah, why don't they? Like, why can't we just tell them how many times somebody has been struck and how many times somebody's been taken down? And I can't believe I'm going to use the PFL, those scrubs as an example. But they use like, me, I've always loved the smart cage. And I know that it doesn't lead to the overall judging of a fight.
We're inside the PFL Smart Cage to talk about a revolutionary statistic that we, the PFL, have brought to the world of mixed martial arts. That is the fighter performance rating.
That's right, and we're looking at it from a 1 to 100 scale, but we're looking at the actions and the impacts of those actions and how they affect the fighters.
Strikes are divided into 3 categories. All of them score, but the damage, the effectiveness, is about the impact, and that scores more heavily in the fighter performance rating. 3 different categories of strikes. They are not all created equal. Every single round, you get a score based on effective takedowns, based on submission attempts, based on these strikes. FPR is telling you who wins this fight.
And it makes a lot of sense for the viewer. I get it. You feel like the judges are more reluctant to go against it. We're also aware that sometimes like the crowd bias can have an effect on the outcome of a judge's score. Why not just isolate them from the event? Have them in separate rooms with minimal interference. Give them access to the data, give them access to the camera angles, so that things are like bang accurate in terms of what they can see. And then the final thing is something that we touched upon: accountability.
The jury will now go off and deliberate.
Like I'm not saying that like at the end of a card you put a judge out into a press conference and then say, right, explain why you scored it that way and why.
I don't need to deliberate. I got the rope right here.
Because they will get murdered. But why not issue like a written statement and then say like, why did you score it that way?
Why?
Dickhead. And then a lot of things can come off that, so we can decide, all right, how have you reached this conclusion? If they're doing things wrongly, they can be re-educated. If they keep doing it, you can just kick them out of the sport. If they're fucking up on a regular basis. There were obviously a couple of others I thought of, you know, like retrospectively overturning results.
So, it's been 24 hours. Got my money?
That's a problem in itself.
Oh, you know what? Just give me till next Friday. I'll have it for you.
With gambling, that's obviously a massive part of the UFC. You can't go back and retrospectively pay people.
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money?
Who have been screwed over, and that's going to cause a lot of legal issues. So you have to find out that night. Including media members was something else that I thought of. But again, it still opens the door to other forms of like corruption and bias as well.
It does.
Because media members are going to have who they like, and you leave them open to potentially being bribed for their viewpoint. So those were the 3: access to stats and angles, judges being isolated from the event, and then just making them accountable. But the most troubling thing to me about all this, and I don't know if you guys are getting this feeling as well, I get a very strong sense that the UFC don't want to fix this.
Nope.
At all.
That's why I've been smirking here the whole time. I'm like, dude, they're not fixing this shit.
They don't want to fix it.
No.
I'm honestly being, as somebody who's been gambling for the last like 10 plus years and a significant amount of time around MMA, I'm starting to believe this whole thing is a sham and this is just an undercover illegal gambling ring. Literally every single card, there's always one that just ruins it all.
That Joe Anderson Brito fight was that one was so messed
It's not the worst robbery I've seen this year, but it's like it was. As soon as it happened,
it was backbreaking because everybody. That was one of those situations where everybody had that in their parlay. Like everybody had that one. It was almost. And you know how I feel about Joe Anderson Brito. Like I was like, dude, this dude is like for real, and he has a lackluster fight, but I still thought he won, and it just tore down so many different parlays.
Like if you think about it, yeah, the amount of money that the UFC generates in pay-per-views and television, it pales in comparison to how much money exchanges hands in gambling.
Yeah,
it pales, and Vegas is oddly the center point of where all these odds are being made.
I'm ruined.
The whole thing's fishy to me. I said it as kind of a half joke, but I'm deadly serious. It feels like a con game.
How did you do on Noche UFC? How'd you do on that card? Did you gamble on that one?
Not well. I gamble on every card, CJ. It's the only reason why I watch MMA.
I will say those parlays, when you do a parlay, you know, you don't have to bet a lot of money or anything like that, but like when you do a parlay, like it does make the card very exciting.
It just does.
But you can get very pissed off though.
I have nothing left except Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's like I said, Rio ruined me, Kaliba ruined me, and and when I post this video, I'm showing those receipts. Losing is not the issue. If you bet on somebody and they go in there and they get fucking sparked out, you go, I picked wrong. But when you pick somebody and they blatantly won, and it slaps differently, because it's not about the money. It's like, they are fucking me here. It's like, it doesn't feel fair. Do you know what I mean? It's not about the money at all. It's literally just like, you're taking the piss.
Did he?
You know what I mean? I don't mind, like I said, I don't gamble at the start of the night thinking this is gonna land. I never think that. I'm not thinking these are 4 people I've picked, they're definitely gonna win. I'm counting my money before I get it. It's never that. But it's like to lose out constantly on parlays where you're like, I won all of them. It stinks. And it happens way too often. Where it's just, and they get away with it. It's gross, man. And bear in mind as well, I'm going on about my money because I like to, but like, the thing that should matter here really is like, again, Jose Aldo's career now is fucked. He should have been able to come back after his excursions into boxing and then say, bam, give me one fight. I've already beaten, 5 or 6 ranked guys already. I should be getting a fight, then a title eliminator, then a title shot.
Yep.
And now he's all the way back at the back of the queue again. He just lost to number 11. It's game over. Yep. And yet John Jones gets a fucking layup. It's disgusting.
John Jones.
At least that nightmare's going to be over soon. At least we can put an end to that shit show as well.
Yeah, I'm tired of it.
Tired of it too.
Same.